Mike and Margie Brubaker see every element of life as an act of worship to God. Both grew up in Christian homes and at early ages developed a relationship with Jesus that continues to deeply impact their lives and the lives of those around them. Mike grew up in rural Palmyra, Pennsylvania, right next door to Hershey, while Margie grew up on the East Coast in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Their paths first crossed in the registration line for college of what was then Philadelphia College of the Bible in the fall of 1970. Mike was a Christian education major and Margie a social work major. Both already had ideas of serving God in their vocations. However, as their relationship developed, they began to imagine a picture of weaving a marriage together with their ministry. They were married in April of 1975. At that time, Mike had already begun his ministry as the associate pastor at the Palmyra Grace Brethren Church, where he primarily worked with youth and oversaw Christian education ministries. They took the youth group to conference and church camps and began to form friendships with other pastors and ministry leaders. Thus, their love grew for the network of our fellowship. In 1978, Mike and Margie moved to Winona Lake, Indiana for Mike to attend Grace Seminary. While there, Mike and Margie attended Community Grace Brethren Church of Warsaw and led the young adult ministry with two other couples. During this season, they began to learn together about God's provision for them at all times. They also loved welcoming college students or anyone in need of connection into their home. Mike and Margie felt God burden their hearts for urban areas during this season of preparation. After Mike graduated from seminary, he took a pastoral position at First Grace Brethren Church in Philadelphia, which lasted 14 years. This season was a significant and growing time in many ways for Mike and Margie. They welcomed two daughters, Charlene and Amy, into their family. Mike worked in almost every aspect of church ministry at some point during this time. Margie was also instrumental in discipleship with women in the church. They started to learn what it meant to walk with people through difficulties of life. Mike also began to serve on the CE National Board during some of these years, using his love for networking believers and the church together. Mike and Margie included Charlene and Amy in ministry experiences both in church and in the community. Because of Mike and Margie's mutual love of music, often they would sing together as a family in church, with Margie accompanying from the piano. During this time, Margie returned to school to earn her master's degree in counseling, beginning to have a new sense of an area God was honoring in her life to work with people in a one-on-one context. After a routine surgery for Mike in 1995, a series of events led to a time of depression for him. Mike and Margie felt God's leading in a new direction for their life and ministry, even if they were uncertain about what all of that would mean at the time. They were willing to allow God, along with the help of Christian counselors, to do a healing work in their lives where they had experienced burnout. This season was transformative in the way they approached life, parenting, ministry, and work. They gained a new vision for encouraging and ministering to anyone with whom they came in contact. During this time, they found Grace Community Church in Frederick, Maryland, where they moved in 1995 for Mike to become the associate pastor, as he had gained an understanding that God had wired him as a team player and supportive encourager to other staff. His areas of passion have come to include connecting people, prayer ministry, training care leaders, and the spiritual formation of leaders and his fellow staff. Margie then spent some time serving on the CE National Board, then worked for a time as a director of the local Crisis Pregnancy Center, then moved into a Christian private practice of counseling. She now specializes in the areas of trauma, works with couples, depression, and anxiety. Their work and ministry lives continued to intersect as they began in 1995 to take the youth group every year to Momentum. Eventually, as youth staff from the church oversaw the annual trip, Mike and Margie kept attending Momentum to stay young, as well as to minister to staff who attend from all over. People have come to describe them as the shepherds to the shepherds, as they offer listening ears, wisdom, or their own experiences to others. Ed Lewis has this to say about the Brubakers. Mike and Margie are the most caring people anyone could imagine. They have such a profound love for the Lord and others. We are so privileged to have them serve young people and adults through their ministries at Momentum, in their church and district, and in the lives of pastors and people of all ages. They listen, they care, they advise people, and mostly they take people to Jesus. I'm so glad we can honor them in this way. In the past 5 years, they have welcomed 2 sons into their family as Amy married Josh, then Charlene married Peter. Mike and Margie would also tell you that they particularly love the new season of being grandparents. They treasure the time they get to spend with their family and continue to encourage their family to pursue God's will for their lives. Mike and Margie have been ministering together for over 36 years. They are still open to God developing their dreams into new things He wants to do in and with their life as they rest in who they are in Christ. Doing and being have both become their spiritual acts of worship which flow into the ministry they do that touches others.